say, it's Nelson Mandela Day. Spend the next 67 minutes with us. Come and join us. We've got very, very interesting topics that we're going to discuss. And also, very important is that, today is a very special day for many people because many companies has reached out to old age homes, to schools, to wherever. So I want to say thank you to those people that made a difference today, that took the 67 minutes to make a difference. Your difference is going to change somebody's life. And I also want to just say Happy New Year to our Muslim viewers. And then very important that we need to look at is that, that we respect one another. In the studio, I've got two very interesting people. The one is Reverend June, very good friend of mine. And then I have a young gentleman, very intelligent. He's going to talk about the things that he's been busy with. His name is Anwar Arendse from the Hood Kitchen. Julle ken mos kom haai op burgers, die Bison Tower. Every week somebody loses to the Bison Tower. I don't know how many people ate that burger, but he will speak more on it later on. Before I continue, let me just go to look at the week that was. What happened the last couple of days, weeks, or days? One of the things that, stories that stood out for me was the grieving husband, Romero Hector. We all know his wife, Gillian, Lieutenant Commander Gillian Hector. She passed away 10 months ago on an exercise underwater, on the sea, on the Cape Peninsula. He wants answers from his, from the Navy. And I hope that he's going to get answers. I mean, he's been waiting for a while. There's no report from what I read. So I do hope that the South African Defence Force will look into this matter and come up with a report. And then I also want to talk about a story that we've also covered a couple of weeks back, months back, with Pagat and some other people. The city of Cape Town has clamped down on construction companies accused of colluding with Nicole Johnson, the wife of a alleged gang boss. Now we all know the whole story amid ongoing investigation into the extortion link of the housing project. So you will remember that we spoke about the construction mafia. This links to that whole story. And then also earlier this week, or yesterday, I think it was Tuesday, some clever guy went onto TikTok with the yellow overall and he pretended he is living the best life in prison. And our new correctional service minister don't play around. So I see they actually got hold of him and they're actually busy making things right in that cell, because, I mean, no prisoner should have a cell phone and still brag about the rights within prison. And then lastly, something very interesting, something on a lighter note, rugby and sports. Lok Salman Murat will captain the Springboks for the first time when they tackle Portugal in a one-off test in Bloemfontein this coming Saturday. So we want to wish him all the best. Salman, we're looking forward to seeing you on the field under the leadership of Rassie Erasmus, and also make us proud, boy. I think we need more youngsters to get into the leadership roles and more opportunities, because we are a diverse group of people. And then, without any further ado, I am going to just go over to my next guest. But before I go over, I've got something for you guys. My next guest is Reverend June. She will join us shortly, and you guys will get to know her a bit better in the next couple of minutes. Back now. We all have stories. Here we share ours. Our race and class was defined by those who pushed us to the ends of the city. But we took that and turned it into something lekker. We defined our own culture, and now we celebrate it. The myth is that Cape Flats is just the middle and working class, but there's so much more to us. Creativity flows here in music, dance, and art. It flows through us all. We are reclaiming and telling our own stories now. This isn't a narrative you can fit into a box. This is the raw reality of life on the Cape Flats. From Soetwater to Lewis, from slaves to business owners, from Constantia to the Cape Flats, we are one. Welcome back. We are with Reverend June, a well-known activist. She does a lot for the community, and I felt that tonight was very important and very special for her to be with me in the studio and just tell us more about her journey over the last few years. Rev, welcome to Cape Flat Stories.
Thanks,
how have you
Dan.
been?
Been good, been cold.
Cold? Rev, you sent me a picture of you when you were 21. Now we know you're not 21 anymore, but tell us a bit about your childhood growing up. Because we know Reverend fighting for the people, but we want to know where you grew up and where is Reverend eindelijk?
Yeah, 21 years old, 55 now. I actually grew up not far from here in Balthorne Estate, and where I found my activism was actually at the Trojan Horse Massacre. back in
Wow.
85. So I lived close to Thornton Road, and I was busy with my friend Amina's here. We're still friends today after 40
Wow.
years. And another friend came running there, covered in blood, saying Amina's brother has been shot. And he just went to the barber in Thornton Road.
Yeah.
And it's when we ran there and we just saw all the shootings and young people lying down and the police beating everyone up. I remember being shot, one of our friends shot in his eye and another police officer stamping on it. That was when I made a vow that day to stand up against any form of injustices. So that's where the activism came.
Come from.
Yeah.
And you've been very active because we have seen you being all over, speaking up for the people. Do you think that we still need to rise? You know, we have things changed over the last 30 years. Do we really have freedom?
No. In all honesty, we don't have much freedom. The fact that we can't even walk freely in the street this time of the night whether you're male or female, child or adult, there's not that much freedom. So yes, we still have lots to do and we still have to rise.
When you were young, did you want to become a reverend? Or did you think of, I want to become a doctor, a teacher? Because I always say doc instead of reverend. So did you want to become something else, you know, before this whole thing happened? Did you have
No.
dreams?
No, I actually wanted to become a priest as a child.
Okay.
I was nicknamed because women were not ordained back then. And in primary school, they used to call me the nun. so yes, I always actually wanted to become a priest. I felt my calling at a very young age.
And for other young ladies out there, I think going into religion, any religion, in business, it's mostly a male-dominated environment. How do you feel as a woman? Do you think we still need to grow there as well and we need to open doors for our ladies?
Yes, definitely. It's still very male-dominated. You spoke about sports earlier on.
Yeah.
Even if you look at sports, men and women, the injustice between the two. You know, the men get paid more than the women in professional sports. In any industry where you work, you always have to work even harder as a woman to prove yourself, whereas the men can get away more easier.
And that is something that we all have to work on. I think in companies and in organizations, we need to give ladies or women the opportunity. I've got a young lady in my house as well, and I actually fear for my baby because she's going to university soon. But I also know it's a very cruel world out there where it is a male domain. I'm a male, and I know. But I just want to swerve away from it a bit. Rev, how was your day? You have been out there giving people food, helping people. Tell me more about that. How was your day?
Today was wonderful because I spent it with the seniors. And our seniors are often so forgotten. You know, they get put away or they're on their own. Not often do their children who are now adults visit them. They've contributed so much to the economy in our country, but they are forgotten. So I had a wonderful time with the seniors.
Wow. Yeah. And you enjoyed it. Do you think that, like you mentioned now, that is something that government should also look at, supporting these institutions, the institutions where our elderly people are living? Because I think also with a little bit of pension that they're getting, I mean, they only get, I think, 2,000 Rand. You can't live from a 2,000 Rand.
No, you can't. With these seniors living, they've got to pay their rent, and then they complain that, you know, electricity for a month is like 800 Rand. What do they have left for food?
Yes. There's nothing left. There's nothing left.
Correct.
And do you think also, going back to the schools, you know, I know you've been very active in cases over the last few months, years, protecting young children. Do you think that our young people are being protected? You know, it is Nelson Mandela Day and we are doing good, but also let's look at the good that we're not doing. Are we really protecting our children as well? Because in this society, if you don't look after yourself, nobody's going to look after you. That's the picture that I'm getting.
100%. And the fact that I don't feel our children are protected in our country. Bottom line.
And also, the other thing, Rev, and you had the live the other night, and I was watching you and Andre. I don't want to mention Andre's name, but I'm going to mention it. And you were talking about a very sensitive topic, the church. Do you feel that, and I don't want to make this a religious topic, but do you feel that we can do more from the religious institutions? Because the religion institutions can practically get to the people. They can help change the narrative. I don't think that if you go to a Nova Park, one of the roads are full of churches there, but that is the demarcaste plek. So how can we use the religious institutions to change the narrative in our communities?
You know, the Bible speaks about the weed amongst the wheat, and sadly that has infiltrated even the churches, the institutional religious institutions, across the board, any religion. And I believe that God must be relevant there. You can't just within a building preach But yeah, this stuff is happening in the communities. The shootings you mentioned, Hanover Park, other areas. We've seen an uprising in gangsterism, in drug abuse, in gender-based violence. You cannot be relevant within a building only. You need to go outside and make the difference and get your hands dirty, do the
Yes.
work.
Yes. The last couple of weeks just before the storm, I'm actually happy for the storm because the storm actually stopped the people in Ottery from shooting gun. Alles bang vir water. But 120 people dying within a week, that is not normal.
Yeah.
Have you, I don't know if you've seen, do you think our government has a plan to fight gangsterism?
No. Absolutely nothing. Because it's not working. Whatever their plan is definitely not working. It needs to be relooked. I was in Saldanha. While I was there, 2 people were killed. Literally I heard the one literally 11 o'clock the night, I heard him. A few minutes later, he ended up killing someone. He's just 16 years old, killing a man that's over 30. It happens all the time. And what is happening, government is not doing it. The police services are not thoroughly equipped to deal with what is happening.
Also, you're talking about the police system. Do you feel with the new minister we had issues with the previous minister? He was only good for wearing a hat. But you think this one now, I don't know, maybe you know him better or you know something about him. Do you think this will give us a bit of hope?
I don't know, in all honesty. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Because a lot has been happening. And as you said, just literally before the storm, the rise in killings and shootings. And we have to now see whether this police minister will actually do the talk.
You must, I would like to say, never be some skoon. But I want to ask you a question. What does equality mean to you, Reverend? On this day, Nelson Mandela was all about giving. Nelson Mandela was all about changing lives. What does equality mean to you?
Sure. That's a big question because to me, equality is if everyone is equal.
Yeah.
And that is not going to happen. My late dad used to tell me, you need to treat the same person that sweeps the street with the same respect that you treat the president of the country. And then, you need to see everyone as equal, irrespective of race, gender, religion, political affiliation. We need to see a person and not a status.
And you think that's the problem we look at statuses today?
Yes.
I think we've become very much modernized. You must have a title for me to respect you. The Bible also talks about, in the Quran talks about being humble. What is humbleness to you? Because Rev, I always see you with children that don't have parents maybe. I see you with children that are hungry and you feed them. What does humbleness mean to you? What does it mean for you to give back to that child?
I've been there. I know what it's like to go hungry. I've been on the street. I've been homeless. And it's easy for people to judge. You don't know them. You don't know their story. And so humility and humbleness, you need to see, the whole theme of Ubuntu, I am because you are. And we need to embrace that.
Yeah.
Because so many times people are more concerned about money, your bank account, your status. It's all about money and power. And again, they don't see a person behind it. So then when they see someone, you mentioned children that's hungry or maybe the homeless, it's a person.
Yes.
And humility is seeing that person because God created all of us.
That's right. And He created us in His image.
Correct.
Reverend, tell us more about your organization. You've got an organization, Word Source, right? And there's another organization, Say His Name. I know you always tell people there's 2 differences.
Yes.
So tell us more about your organization and the work that you're doing.
Okay, so I started off in 2016 with my first hunger strike, and that's when the Justice Page was born. So literally all my work comes from my Justice Page, actually. The NPC, Walk in the Shoes of Survivors, with SOS, the acronym, was recent, where we felt that others must come on board and then, we do the work together. And it's addresses, and the Say His Name was born out of me naming my rapist publicly. And that's where the hashtag Say His Name came from, and me winning that case. So with the Say His Name, I offer court support, I do counseling, and all this stuff I offer at no cost whatsoever. So I do trauma counseling, I empower people, because when you are raped or you go through any violent crime, like murder in your family, you have trauma and you have triggers, and you don't know how to handle those responses to those triggers. And so I equip them to deal with those trigger responses.
And Rev, trauma sometimes, is when a young man takes a gun because he don't know how to deal with himself. It can lead to suicide. It can also lead that young boy becomes a menace in his community,
Correct.
uncontrollable. Our people in our community, we don't want to go for counseling. Counseling for us is something, it's only what white people do it. And I have to be honest, how do we sort of motivate our people to go for counseling? Anything can cause trauma, but how do we work towards going for
We need to
counseling?
change that narrative because, people got this negative around counseling, and that's why we have toxic masculinity, because men are told you don't go for counseling because that's a girl thing.
Yes.
And then they suppress the emotions, and the only way to take it out is through anger, through violence. And so when a boy gets raped, he's told to keep quiet
Yes.
because you can't show emotions, because boys don't cry, tigers
right.
don't cry. And that becomes suppressed anger, and he then go and rape somebody else
Yes.
because he's trying to take his power back. So by us saying no counseling, you're doing more damage than anything else, for women as well. Again, with counseling, it teaches you and equips you to move from pain to power, to purpose, to know how to deal with your trauma responses, how to deal with the anger, the nightmares. Instead of cutting yourself, self-mutilation and suicide, you get healthier ways to deal with it.
Ref, if you can go back to a 21-year-old June and you tell her, look, you're 21 years old, this is, you can experience this. What is the best advice that you will give to a 21-year-old June?
I think I can say it on the air. Well, I definitely can't say it on air what I'm thinking.
Okay.
But yes, don't trust easily. And again, the whole wheat amongst the wheat. And love yourself. Be kind with yourself.
I just want to go back into you studying to become a reverend. What sacrifices did you have to make? How long did it take you to study? There's very few reverends that I see, even women preachers. It's mostly, like I say, still male-dominated.
Yes.
How do we change that? How do we, because obviously you can't just come out of the kitchen and go preach. You obviously need to go study the Word of God. What has the journey been for you like when you started studying?
It was a long journey. I can only speak from the Anglican Church's perspective because that's where my journey was. So becoming a priest is a few years process of discernment, and you have to go for up to 2 years, sometimes even longer, of just discernment. And then you go to seminary for 3 years. I did it in 2 years. I did more subjects per year. And then it's ordination. So it is a long process that you go through.
True. I read something on Facebook that you said with us, the strike. Tell us more about the strike, the hunger strike. You were in front of somebody's house and you were striking. And I know Fadil was also there. I hope he didn't offer you like an inch or something. But how have that been for you?
Yeah, so as most of you know, I was raped by a priest as well in the Anglican Church. And at one point, I left to go to another diocese, but anyway, another job. What my papers was withheld. So then I had 2 hunger strikes, one in 2016 and one in 2020. I think I met Fadil in 2016 actually already with that first one and the second one. So with that, the first one was in Zonnebloem. The second one was Leafy Bishop's Court outside the residence of Archbishop Thabo Makgoba. It was tough because at the end of the day, as a woman, you have to go to such extremes just to get justice, just to be heard. And again, speaking out. And it's easy for people to say, break the silence. I went very public with my journey because my journey shows what it's like when you actually break the silence. And so I say break the fear before you break the silence. Because in going public, people can see that you have to go through such extremes. You lose your job. You get attacked financially. You get victim blamed, body shamed. I got spat on. I got sworn at. It's not easy to break the silence.
You talk about how people treat you. Do you remember the time when you guys were locked up there by cliques?
You brought us a Gatsby.
They were locked up at cliques and they actually threw you out later on, right?
Yes.
That's the things that you're going through.
Yes.
I don't think people understand. What would you say? What is a perfect activist? Because many people are using activist, the term activist, very loosely. What is your definition of an activist?
To me, you get a career activist, which does it for the money. And then you have an activist who's genuine. The heart and the passion is in it. You want to see change, irrespective of the sacrifice to yourself. And so I don't believe in just picketing and making a noise, but you must hit it where it hurts.
Yeah.
And that particular picket you're referring to is hitting it where it hurts, and that's the pockets in advertising.
Yeah,
We will
yeah.
not mention what we were, whom we were picketing against.
Yeah. Reverend, all these things that you've done, it puts a lot of stress on you, it puts a lot of strain on you. And where do you find the motivation from? Because you obviously need to motivate yourself to wake up the next morning. You don't have a full-time job. I don't think the people think you don't have a full-time job. This is what you do for a living, this is your passion. But what motivates you to get up tomorrow morning and say, okay, let's fight another battle?
Yeah. So just as you say, this is my full-time job with no pay. For people know, I really don't get paid for it. And I think when people were saying you need to register an NPC, then you'll get funding. And that's where WITSOS came. We got sweet no funding. People don't fund gender-based violence, so we got no funding. So yes, I assist people. I assist people even in Limpopo, Johannesburg, Eastern Cape, various provinces with a phone. I can do all the work with the phone.
Yeah.
And I trust God to provide for my rent at the end of the month. And I literally live from month to month. And that is just the reality. People assume that I get funding, but I decided that I know what I went through journeying alone, and I don't want another survivor to go through what I went through.
And I think that is what the comfort of you sacrificing, making somebody else's lives easy. We have a few minutes left. I want to ask you, what was the most difficult case that you worked on? That I know you very much. Maybe you can give us some information on the Jocelyn case. What's currently happening? You don't have to tell us about the investigation, but you went on Monday to Saldanha. Just give us a brief.
Yes, so I got involved. With Jocelyn's case, I saw it in Something About It stood out. I've been involved in it quite a bit. I just came back yesterday from Saldanha again. Obviously, there's certain things I can't share on air with regards to that case. I was able to, with the team that I had there, hand over some evidence, and that is also part of the postponement. So evidence was handed in, and now obviously forensics has to take place. So we need to understand that it's an ongoing investigation. And I understand that people are frustrated that it's postponed every time, but because it's ongoing, evidence comes all the time. And with evidence coming all the time, it has to be postponed for forensics to be done.
And I think we need to also be very diligent, patient, because these things take time. You need to find the right people, and also the evidence must be investigated. So keep us posted. We follow you. We support you. And thank you so much for what you're doing, Reverend. Man, I've worked with you and I've seen what you've done. You are not selfish. You put your own life at risk for other people. So we salute you, Reverend. All the best.
Thank you.
And may there be many, many more years. Ladies and gentlemen, ons gaan gou dienispaar toe 'n ander broer wag vir ons. Ons is nou by julle.
Welcome to Story Time with Mr. Brucci, with our very own Cape Flat stories. Today's story is a story that I learned from a friend called Khatipi. Khatipi told me the story that he had to be the president of the country. I asked why. So this is exactly in his words how he said it. My bro, sy sien ek moes die president gewees het. Nou ek was vir die laaste 6 maande van Mandela se sentence opgesluit in 'n sel met Mandela, ek Khatipi en 'n Tsomi kakalaktoenaals. Ons drie was gesê, kyk hier, as 'n move. Ek gaan nou die deure toemaak, sê die bewaarders. Agter 6 maande gaan dit maar eers weer op. Wat wil julle hê vir die 6 maande? My Tsomi kakalaktoenaals sê, my bro, ek soek net beheer, man. Mandela sê, you know, I am in isolation. That's why I want to unite the Rainbow Nation, because never and never again shall the land know black domination or white domination. Ek sê, wag my bro, you giving me a constipation. Anyway, dis move, hulle vraag op my, wat wil jy hê, my bro? Ek sê, nee, gee net vir my 'n eentjie, man. Hey, agter 6 maande, daar word die selle opgemaak. My Tsomi lê drong as van al die bure. Mandela's like, I'm gonna unite the nation. Hey, Amandla. En ek sit in die hoekie en hy ook. Hulle vra my van wat hy ons hy my broer. Ek sê, nou 6 maande gelede toe vra ek 'n Ensie, maar ek het vergeet om 'n like te vra. Hallo, get
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welkom terug. I have no stranger with me in the studio. His name is Anwar Arendse. Now, we on the Cape Flats dan skreeu ons vir hom Anwar. But tonight we're going to say Anwar. Anwar, welcome to Cape Flats Stories.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here, Stan. Thank you so much.
We only see you on Facebook when you make your burgers, your liquor burgers. Tell us more about yourself. Wie is Anwar? I know you play soccer. You can spy op jou bietjie. And I know you do a lot for the community. But let's start. How was your life when you grow up? What did you want to become?
I always wanted to be a professional footballer. That was one of my main goals growing up. And then I found food. I remember grade 7. It was like a career day. Instead of dressing up as a soccer player, I actually dressed up like a chef. So it was either or. And believe it or not, I actually, throughout my life growing up, I've been in so many industries. And now I'm here.
Yeah, you started your own business. I think that is an achievement, especially for a young boy from the Cape Flats. So I want to salute you for that. You are also a father. Tell us about your family. Ik hoor jy het 7 kinders. Ek weet ek moet maar vir jou vra.
It's actually 5.
Okay.
But three is mine. So
Okay.
that's Gianna, she's the eldest, and then Aria, and then Amari. And then I have Zimkita and Banati, but that's my sister's children, but I'm the guardian, so I take it as they're my own.
Yeah.
And then of course I have my beautiful wife, shout out to you, she's watching right now, Gabby.
Gabby?
I'm very family orientated, and that coupled with being also business orientated. That I would say that's me in a nutshell right now.
And your family is part of the business, right?
Oh yeah.
Because this is a family business that you're building.
Yes,
you're building a legacy.
Yes, it is indeed. So my mom and my dad, Kulsum and Andre, they're also a big part of this actual business. As everyone knows, the business is on their premises, you know, but we also stay there. We stay upstairs in the new tech. But everybody is sold on the vision, the idea, and what is to come, you know. So yeah, it's a legacy that we're trying to build for all the offspring.
But I love what you're doing, man. You gave some of your space opposite the road to other vendors to give them an opportunity. The first thing that tells me, Anwar, is he selfish? You are passionate about helping other people. Where does this passion come from? Obviously from a mother of your father or somewhere, because you've opened so much doors for other people. Just tell us about this new venture where you have different people on the premises as well as the future, what you have in mind.
Yeah, so firstly where it started, I was very selfish, conceited, self-centered growing up. I was that type of character, and I had to really take a heavy knock in my life to understand that this is not you. And I feel God, He played a major role in who I am today. And if I'm a God-fearing person, so disclaimer, I'm born-again Christian. Not a lot of people know that, although my name is Anwar. I believe that He's real, and I feel like everything that has happened up until this point, it had to happen to bring me here. And with that aside, the Creating Breadwinners Initiative is where we're giving entrepreneurs a platform to basically thrive and to sustain their own business through our brand, and we are going to help them get there. So we give them a trailer, fully furnished, and we help them establish their brand, we help them with their marketing, staffing solutions, and we give them the platform to really thrive, because in this industry, it's not just about making food. If you're going to come into this industry and think that that's it, you're going to fail, you know. And hopefully we can start the next wood kitchen, you know, and I believe that it's going to happen. And the plans for this is to build legacies for their families and more families to come for many years.
You have mentioned something that you give them a fully furnished trailer. Obviously cost a lot of money. that is being invested. Where did this idea comes from? Because I saw you the other day. You gave it to one of the people there. Was it a competition, or was it just that people had to present their proposals to you?
No, actually, so through my journey of now having my colleagues and having people work for me, our employee turnover was quite high in the beginning. Let's say in the first 3 years, and I had to really just sit back and check, what's happening, why. We're not a big brand making millions a week. We're very far from that. So firstly, I think it was obviously the money. And then secondly, there wasn't that much opportunity because we were still a very small brand. So what I decided was to give our people that's working for us more power.
Wow.
So the very first people I actually asked if they want to step up and get onto that trailer was our own staff. But all of them, to my disappointment, declined. And then the very next best person that stood out to me, that brand was doing really well on TikTok, and also he was just doing really well on his own, was Storm. And that's where SNS Takeaways comes in. And they were the very first to win that competition that we had, and now they're on the trailer.
Storm is also somebody that motivates me. Do you know what happened? So his mother sent me a message, I think 2 years ago or 2.5 years ago. He was looking for an opportunity. I think he just came from safe school.
Yes.
And he needed like internship. And I posted it, just put it out there. And then somebody contacted him. And that's how he also got his opportunity to like learn. But the nice thing is this. Some of us sow the seed. And some of us water that seed. And some of us actually take that seed and we celebrate it. So I think this is what happened. And Storm is doing amazing, and through your leadership as well. And I think one of the things that we have, and I don't know how you feel about this, but we have a lack of leadership skills, a lack of leaders. You mentioned earlier on you wanted the people in your staff to take over. But I also feel some of us are followers and some of us are leaders. But I think we have a lack of leaderships, especially young people. What do you think? I think we still need to break that boundaries.
My mother actually taught me that. My mother told me, not everyone is capable of running a business. Not everyone is capable of being a manager. And not everyone will want to be a worker. So that's something you're really going to have to understand real quick. And she's been working for a company for more than 40 years.
Wow.
More than 40 years. And I'm like, right now, I'm an aspiring entrepreneur, business owner. And I'm like, why didn't you just, start your own thing? But she made me understand.
Yes.
I just didn't want that added on stress. I just wanted my salary, come home, then that's how it goes.
Stress, talking about stress, how do you handle stress? Because I know you've got a lot of stress. I mean, all of us, building a brand, being young, being a young colored male, let me add it like that, opportunities don't come easily. Some people are waiting for opportunities, but you are getting that opportunity. How do you deal with your stress? And what is your challenges?
I think last year was my most challenging year. And how I deal with stress has really just been with my family. My 2 daughters and my son and my wife are a key part of me just taking a load off. And I hope they know it because I understand whenever I get home, they are there, and for me, that takes everything away. And that's why I get up in the morning. That's why I'm working 7 days a week, 365 days a year, but I understand the mission. I understand where we want to be. And just to, I don't know, man, you have kids. So that is how I get rid of my stress. And of course, I play football. So whenever I play, a lot of my players a lot of my teammates will actually, I'm like the destroyer. I'll always tackle the people. I'll always take, but that's how I also channel my stress. And then I do gym and I also box. So
okay. And that is your coping mechanisms. If you could go back to a young Anwar of, let's say, 13 years old, what would you tell him? What is the thing? Because you know what? We make mistakes over the years, and that mistakes makes us grow and makes us wise. But if there's one thing you can go back into time that you think it will change things in the future, to tell the young boy that's 13 years old inside of you, give him good advice, what would that be?
I'm going to be honest. changed nothing.
Okay, I love that.
Because everything had to happen, and if it didn't, I wouldn't been sitting here today.
Yeah.
You know, like one of the darkest periods in my life was when I got locked up because I was selling drugs. I wouldn't even tell myself to change that because that had to happen. If that didn't happen, I would have not ended up at Negro. I would have not picked up that stone, and I would have not found God. You know, so change nothing. You know,
Yeah.
and I feel like we sometimes forget that the most important thing is actually the journey. We forget about the journey because the journey is the thing we really need to appreciate because we're more worried about what happened in the past or what is going to happen in the future instead of just enjoying the journey because tomorrow we're not there, you know, and the past is in the past. So yeah.
I love that God gave you a second chance and you took that second chance with both hands. There's many of our young brothers out there on the Cape Flats that's still in that life. And sometimes I also feel I'm a bit too harsh on these youngsters because they come from backgrounds maybe where they got hurt. What do you think, what do we need to do more to reach out to the young Anua? I was also naughty to the young Stan. What do we need to do more in our community to reach out to them? Because that is where the turning point is going to happen. A lot of us are waiting for government to make that change. But I think myself and you and the Reverend and the others are very powerful and we can do this collectively. What would you tell a person watching this show now? What can they do to help that boy struggling?
I'll be very direct and just tell all the ward councillors to use that 1 million rand that they get every term, invest it into businesses, create more opportunities in the immediate area.
Wow.
Once that opportunities is created, we are going to see a lot more change because our people is deprived of opportunity and without opportunity, we don't have, it turns into poverty. Poverty turns into gangsterism, crime and all of the above. But if we can, instead of just focusing on infrastructure and build, focus on our people because our people is actually the ones that can take us forward. So Tariq, you know, the government can do more, but the government, they are doing it, but it's just also our people. You know, we tend to blame the government, but it's actually our people breaking down. But if the ward councillors can actually just invest in local businesses in their ward, I feel it will create so much more opportunities. And that's where change can come for youngsters.
Do you think, I mean, Mitchell's Plain is big. Mitchell's Plain is baie groot. Do you think there's still untapped opportunity out there where you can start another kitchen in another area? I think our people love food. And I'm going to be very honest. I don't like to support these American people. I'm going to be honest. I like to support the Anua because I know Anua's money is going to go into the community. And same with the other local people. But do you think that this is something that we need to do? This is something that we need to drive because we all are speaking about, you know, what we want. But everybody's doing it on a different platform. Do you think we should come together? Like you said, the millions of rands. We should actually keep the mayor accountable because the ward councillors work for him. To invest this money in businesses like yourself, maybe build more trailers, maybe open another shop. Because if you build 4 more trailers, that means maybe 4 or 8 people will have a job. If you open another shop, let's say in Manenberg, that means 10 people will have a job. So do you think they need to invest money in you must take this into businesses like yourself, give money to yourself, and then you do it because government make this thing where they say they will create jobs. They can't create jobs. It's you, I, and the gentleman in the studio that create jobs. Do you think there is something that government should look at should relook at?
That is quite big.
But okay, let's put it so. If I give you, from that 30 million rand that the ward councillors give, if I give you 10 million rand, and I say, Anwar, here's 10 million rand, what are you going to do in the next year?
So, never mind my business, but I think Mitchell's Plain as a whole and Khayelitsha combined, firstly, fact, not statement, they contributed the most to the GDP at the end of the past 3 financial years. Right? That 2 communities alone, and that's in the entire South Africa. Right? Now, if you look at the bigger picture there, Mitchell's Plain has a lot of untapped potential. but it's a political thing that's keeping that potential away, because in my opinion, they're taking business out of Michel's Plain.
Yeah.
Michel's Plain is making billions on an annual basis.
Yeah.
If that money stays, Michel's Plain alone can be a powerhouse of an economy, and we can really bring massive change to not only the Cape Flats, but to our people. And there will be so much more opportunities. There's so many businesses in Michel's Plain. It's not even food that is doing amazing things, you know, like for instance, like R Labs. R Labs is doing like
I saw.
it's next level. So big shout out to Marlon and the team. And I feel like if the government can focus more on programs and businesses like that, like ours, I think a lot more opportunity can come from it. And our people just need to stand up. You know, it's our time. And I'm gonna say it live. Watch out, Michel's Plain is about to become one of the biggest economies in South Africa.
Turning challenges into, you know, opportunities. Waar het Anouar geleer burgers maak? Tell us with that journey. Because they gooi die kaas so lekker op haar so, and then, you know. Where did that journey start for you?
The burgers. So funny story. My dad might disagree with me, but this is what I believe. So it was never supposed to be a takeaways. Right? We had this grand opening event at Spine Road High, and we invited a vendor to be a caterer. And a day before the event, this vendor said they can't come. Right? And then we were expecting over 500 people to come to this event. This is now in 2019, I speak under correction. And we were expecting 500 people to come, and we then decided, we're going to be our own vendor there on the day. And at the time, I was selling frozen chicken nuggets, frozen beef patties, and frozen chicken burgers. I was a hustler. And then I said, okay, babe, let's take the burgers that we have, let's go buy rolls, and let's sell burgers at this event. And we had only about 89 people, just under 100 people come out, and we actually ran at a loss. So we decided, and this is how God works. We decided, that was the Friday, to open up the next day to now, you know, just break even and to sell our stock that was left over. And that's where the burger journey started. And then something just clicked, man. And this is a tip to all entrepreneurs out there. I just started taking pictures and videos, and I started doing lives from the get-go. And then up until today, Khalid Barense, he bought 15, I think it was 15 to 20 burgers about 2 or 3 weeks later from that Saturday when we opened. And then I just exploded. And then I saw, okay, here's potential. Let me just keep going. So that's where the burger started. And again, as the journey, I personally feel like I can make the best burger in the world. That's the standard and the level that we have. It's not always going to come perfect out of the kitchen, you know, but I expect perfection from my team and from myself. And it's not just burgers, you know, look at the Sunday roast that we had now, not too long ago. But we specialize in burgers because I feel like it's a go-to, and we created a brand around it.
Anouar, the other question I want to ask you is that with your menu, I'm in your Facebook, I'm in your WhatsApp, and I every time go onto the WhatsApp, I say, what did the man buy? Who helps you to design it, or how do you come up with new ideas? Because I've seen you always busy with something new. Die chips with the kaas boop. But how do you get to these ideas?
It comes randomly to me. My wife actually told me now about a week or 2 weeks back, you are actually really good at cooking. And you need to really push to take this to the next level. And then I actually told her, I know, but I think I want to be an entrepreneur. That is my main, that's my main thing, and that's what I want to focus on. And it just comes randomly. I was walking in Checkers now the other day. I saw blueberries, and I was like, blue cheese. Is this gonna go together? And then I just like, let's see. And I cooked the blueberries down. I then added the blue cheese, some water.
Sorry, I just got a phone call quickly.
Oh, okay.
Hello. Yeah. something. Ja, kom maar in. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So I cooked the blueberries down and then added the blue cheese, added some water, and then I added a spice and another extra sauce. I can't disclose that. And then there's a tub. There's also a tub in the bag.
Thank you.
That's the sauce.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, ons gaan nou die blueberry move proeven. Hè?
Yeah. This is actually, I feel like this is going
Wow.
to be a very,
Yeah.
this is a very unique sauce. I don't think anyone in the world made it yet, to be honest with you.
So you the founder, you the scientist.
Yeah, behind this.
Do you feel that working in the kitchen gives you a lot of opportunity to create things that is out of your mind? Do you also escape while you make food?
I do.
Yeah.
There's just something about food is like a love language, and you can express yourself through it. And I feel like that's what happens when I cook. You know.
Okay. And what I'm gonna taste this burger. Do I throw the sauce on top?
You do, yes.
Okay, let me just open the roll quickly. There we go. And I'm gonna throw it a bit over here. Was this one so lekker taste? So wat ons is in die studios kan nie iets soos by die city. Let me just taste quickly.
Oh, yeah,
These chips are, I'm gonna taste it now.
Proef soos 'n engel op my.
Donker papier. Sorry. Is baie lekker. Is baie lekker. Just show you guys quickly. It's nice, it's soft. I like the roll.
Can I throw that over the burger?
Yeah.
Can you keep
Yeah.
it? No, tilt it.
Like this? Okay, there we go.
Look at that bubble sauce.
Lekker.
That's so man.
It's very nice. The patty, do you make it yourself?
All in-house. The only thing we don't make is our rolls. The chips, we actually recently changed the chips because we had a lot of complaints on our previous fries. So now we have a 12mm cut fry and we triple fry it, so it's much better. And that is a smash patty, is 100 grams, but that's a double smash burger with our now soon to be famous blue cheese blueberry sauce.
Guys, I have to be honest with you, it tastes very nice. The patty is nice, soft. I like the cheese, I love cheese. The sauce, it is a quite sauce. I'm not somebody for blueberry, but I think the taste complements the patty. So the whole burger complements the thing. So it's a brilliant, how can I say, scientific idea that they came up with.
And this is actually going to be on our new menu coming quite soon. So I'm really excited. So last year we won best in first class service out of 18,000 restaurants. I actually flew down to Joburg for that award.
I saw.
And this year with the new menu, what I'm aiming for is best in food. I want to make it into the top 100 eateries, not in South Africa, but in the world.
And you are a bra that started the business in his mother's kitchen.
Yes.
And you competed with big brands
Yes.
that have offices and you won an award. I saw you coming back with an award. How was that feeling for you?
Best feeling.
Coming from Mitchell's Plain.
It was actually one of the best feelings I ever had, because to just stand there and to be sitting amongst people that's been in the industry for almost over 30 years and sharing an award with them was an amazing achievement. And we literally only started in 2021 after COVID officially. And to achieve that within such a short time just shows the amount of passion and consistency that everyone that has been part of the Wood Kitchen has, put into it. So yeah.
So it's about in 2 years' time when you got this award.
Correct.
With all I know your Facebook page are very big. And you always share your journey. And ek het gesien hoe jy gesukkel het met die plamme en daai mense.
Yeah.
That as a business owner, how does that affect your business? Because I don't think people realize if you close, you don't make money. That's the difference between working for a company and working for yourself.
On Monday, Monday we actually closed because I had some maintenance. My car broke. I had plumbing work. We did a deep cleaning and our electric was down. I spent almost nearly about 20K on that day alone without money coming in. It's extremely stressful.
Yeah.
It's extremely stressful, and I feel like you just need support, man. But yeah, you just as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you just need to mitigate through all their challenges and see what's the best solution. Because you need to think on your feet.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. That taste is still here. I'll be honest with you, het proe lekker. Soos ek gesê het proe soos die engel op my tong gebeet. It's a very nice burger. For young people out there, and I know you're very much involved. You know, you always tell me, Stan, you do this and you're proud of me, but I want to tell you, I'm proud of you as well. Although we said not always, but I'm very proud of what you're doing because I can see, there's a scripture in the Bible that says people will see the fruit of your hands. And I want to ask you, what do you have planned for the young people of your area? Because I know you're very involved with programs, especially joining with R Labs. I actually heard the first time R Labs, the R stands for Reconstruction Lab. I didn't know that, so I heard it last week. But what are your plans to get young people involved in your business?
That is to firstly give them opportunity through our business. So we're actually one of the only kitchens, I'm not sure if we are, but we're one of the only kitchens in Cape Town or South Africa that allows our customers to come into the kitchen and to come and cook with us.
Wow.
Which is an added-on experience. So we don't hide anything, you know. So you can come into the kitchen and cook with us. But back to the kids, I feel what we are currently working on, and I don't want to just disclose a lot because of evil eye and all of that. You know, as much as God is real, and other brothers also real. We got big plans for Mitchell's Plain.
Yeah.
Me and my partners, and that is R Labs, Cloud Advertising, Wood Kitchen. We got big plans, and I made a promise not too long ago that I'm gonna make sure that we put Mitchell's Plain on the map and change the narrative through our business, and it's really all starting to fall into place. And I feel once the time is ready, we are going to make a big impact in our community.
And I think that is a passion that is actually showing. You spoke about the other bra. That bra is in everybody's business. How do you handle, the last question, how do you handle with criticism? How do you handle when people attack your character? Because sy ken mos also mense gaan nie die burger attack of die brand attack, hulle gaan vir jou attack. And I mean with any person that runs a big platform, myself, you can always feel people attacking you personally. And I mean, yes, you spend time with your family, that's what actually helps you. But how do you, because people, when they tear the skin of your face, it actually stays with you.
I actually went out the other night, went to go watch the England game. And what happened was I met this guy, and when we just started our business, there was like, I asked him for a quote, and out of the 3 quotes that I got, I declined this quote. And he came up to me and he said how proud he was, but then he uitgepak.
Yeah.
It was like, this happened, that happened, and then he also said that there's a few people that mentioned something about you, but I don't know someone that get into it. So what I do, I take it in as constructive criticism. If I won't listen to everyone, I really won't listen to everyone. But when it is really time to listen and take note, I do.
Yes.
But I just don't care what people say because I know we are doing good.
Yes, yes.
Like genuinely, I know we are doing good, you know, and where there's good, there's bad. So that is always going to happen, you know.
You're always going to get those people that just want to do it for the fun, especially now with social media. And your pages are very big. And I want to salute you for giving other people on your page also opportunity. Very few people do it. But I'm going to ask you now, we're just going to go to a car review quickly. I don't know if you've seen this car on the road. It's the new Omoda.
Omoda.
I would like to hear your opinion on this car. I've driven one recently. It's okay. It's very expensive. It looks beautiful with inside. And also the nice thing about this car is it's a GT, so it's the top of the range. I think it sells for 549,000.
549,000.
Yeah.
I'll take one, please.
549,000. And also what I like about this car is that it's big, especially you that like to go out with your
With my
family.
family, yeah.
It's a nice family car. Lear seats.
As I see my wife getting into
Yes,
the car
yes,
with
yes.
the glasses on, high heels, all in black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Guys, if you're watching, please, Omoda, please give this man a test drive.
No,
It's
it
a
is
very nice car. It's a very nice car. I think the only thing now is
And GT, no?
GT. Yeah, so the GT, I think only 77 came into the country. So this will become a limited edition. They might bring in more, but the specific one, 77 came in. So 1.6. It's not that light on fuel, but also what you're driving, man. You can feel the power. And the nice thing is this is you press the button, a motor, close the sunroof.
Hey,
En die straaluimtuinen, a motor, close the windows. So it's very technical. It's a very technical advanced car. Have you seen any on the road?
No.
No. You want to see?
I would love to see it actually in person.
I'm gonna organize a test drive for you. No?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We're live, connecting Cape Town, South Africa, and the world indeed.
If you look at it out of 10, what would you rate it? Just by the looks, is it something that you will tell your wife, babe, let's go buy it?
Just by the look of it, to be honest with you, a 7. So I need to test drive that, and maybe that 7 will turn into a 10. But it looks very nice. I like the design. It reminds me of Haval.
Yes.
And Haval is really coming out right now with some nice cars, but I love the design. So yeah.
There was an article yesterday that came out about the Val, the Omoda, and the Jacob becoming targeting cars for hijacking.
I saw that, yeah.
I think it's because the cars are still new. There's not a lot of parts in the country yet. And it's the same, I mean, it can be a compliment as well. If you look at the GTI, the Hilux Bakkies, and some of the Toyota cars are being stolen because of the need for the parts and stuff, or just to have the car. So I think Omoda or the Chinese brands are actually making their way to the market. Do you think it's a good thing? Making cars cheap. Making cars cheaper, because if you compare an Omoda with that type of car, I think it's the Tiguan in the Volkswagen. I think it's about 150,000 rand cheaper.
It can be a good and a bad thing, you know. As you said, it was also in the article that it was one of the most targeted cars.
Yes.
So it's a good and a bad thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I can't really say yay or nay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's actually nice. I would love to see it in black.
There is a black one. I'm going to organize for you for a test drive. I'll call them tomorrow and I'll ask, can you organize my a drive? I know what does the future holds for you? What do you see? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Me personally?
With all the stress and everything.
Sure. I actually just came from a 72-hour fast. Now at 11 o'clock this morning. It's a big achievement without eating anything. As I'm sitting here, I'm stress-free. My energy levels are up. I feel really good. I really feel good. Where I see myself in the next 5 years, me personally, we got our registration papers for cloud advertising in the week. So this is an advertising company that we opening up quite soon. I see myself running that company. I see the Wood Kitchen having about plus minus 50 to 100 stores across the country within 5 years. And I just see myself really changing the narrative of Mitchell's Plain and giving our people power and legacies, you know, for many years to come. But I see myself sitting in Cloud's office within the next 5 years. That's where I see myself.
You see yourself in the office?
In Mitchell's Plain,
in Mitchell's Plain. You must take a
very
picture.
tall building.
You must take pictures of where you started and where you're going to. Daar's 'n skrif in die Bybel wat sê rig vir jou mylpale op. I think I said it with Reverend today. Where we come from is maybe small beginnings, but where we're going to, it's going to make people get heart attacks because God is going to bless us, you know. So thank you so much, Anwar, for joining us, for being here. Any last words you want to just mention to our youngsters out there, a young Anwar that's starting?
I would just say listen to mom and dad. Listen to your guardian. Put God first. Don't take that for granted. pray a lot. I think that's one of the most powerful things that we do take for granted. And believe in yourself. I never thought that I would be sitting here in a million years. And I want to give my roses to you, you know, because I always tell you how proud I am, and I never actually did it publicly. And I'm really proud of all your achievements. And not just colored people, but every South African child. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And I want to be the front runner to show them that it is. And yeah, that's what I would like to do.
And I think it's just hard work and compliment one another. There's nothing wrong with me celebrating you. I think we do that too little in our communities. Yeah, we need to celebrate one another.
We do it mainly also when people die. Then we give them their roses, you know, and it's always, I want you to do good, but not better than me.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality we really need to get rid of, you know, to thrive. Because together, stronger. You didn't see what the Boga do, bro.
My bro. Anwar, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, it was Anwar Hendricks. And
Arendse.
Sorry.
No worries.
There's a klomp ander wat ek ken, but this is Anwar Arendse, and he is the founder of the Hood Kitchen. He does a lot for our community. Support him. Go to his shop. Buy from him. The more you support him, the more branches he will open, and the more people will work for him. Not for him, but will be employed. So I urge you guys to support Anwar Arendse. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of our show. Almost. I want to ask you guys to like and share and subscribe to our pages, to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to it. From the 30th of July, we're going to go live every Tuesday night. Live every Tuesday night from the 30th of July. And we're going to have some very strange characters with us in the studio. Good. And we're going to talk about life, and we're going to hear stories like Anwar's story, inspiring stories, stories from our communities that we want to present to the world. I want you to do that thing for me quickly.
The Hood Kitchen was playing, connecting Cape Town, South Africa, and the world indeed. Komalio Burgers.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be live, like I said, Tuesday nights, and we're going to play out with a song that will be the theme song. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the theme song for Cape Fletch Stories Live. Thank you so much. Tune in and stick 8.